Okay, hey everybody, how you doing? This is Mr. Rubin's class. This is our first video being out for the coronavirus break. Here's what I'm intending on doing. I'm going to be posting a video probably every day that is going to be about 15 minutes in length. So something kind of short that you won't get bored by watching. There'll be a worksheet that goes with it that I want you either to print out if you have a printer or just do it on your own notebook paper the best you can by looking at it on the internet. And then when you're done, take a picture of it with your phone and email it to my school email address, which you can find on the website, or I have it listed right there. Make sure your name is on the paper or your name is in the email so that I know whose it is and I can get it graded up for you. I have no idea how long we're going to be out. It could be a while, so let's do it. Alright, so we are starting off basically where we left off, the very beginning of chapter 4. And what we had discussed with chapter 4 is that when it comes to graphs, there are some shapes that are associated with the graphs. We had symmetric, which is this one in the middle. We had skewed left, where the tail goes towards the left. And we had skewed right, where the tail goes to the right. And remember, I taught you can tell whether it's skewed left or skewed right by imagining it's a big dinosaur that has a tail. And wherever the tail goes, that's the direction that this one is. So skewed left, the tail goes to the left. Skewed right, the tail is going to go out to the right for that dinosaur. So besides that, there's a couple of other important things to do. And in your worksheet today, what I want you to be doing is copying down all of the notes that we're doing. So skewed left looks like that. Skewed right looks like this. What I'd like for you guys to do is kind of copy down a generic version of this. And if you can't print it, and show me what you got. Okay, that's what our assignment is going to be determined today. Let me get rid of that. The other important thing, and that I need you to write down for your notes, is where is the center of these things? Okay, well in symmetric, the center is going to be in the middle. So the mean and the median are going to be in the middle. In skewed left, typically what you do is you find the highest bar and you just go one bar over, and the mean and the median are going to be somewhere in there. Over here on skewed right, again, typically what you do is you find the highest bar, and then you go one spot over, and the mean and the median are going to be in there. So skewed left is going to have a higher median and mean than symmetric or skewed right. Skewed right will have the lowest of all of them. Symmetric will be in the middle. And that's typically how this works. Alright, let's compare these. So on your worksheet, what I'd like for you guys to do is to kind of draw a generic version of this if you haven't have it printed. And I want you to compare socks on it. If you remember what socks is, the things that we're going to compare are shape, outlier, center, and spread. So we're going to compare shape, outlier, center, and spread. So what we have here is how old somebody is on the bottom. So we got an age range. And going up, we have frequency, which is a fancy way of saying how many people said that. So for example, comedy. The 18 to 21 year age group, there's about 7 people who were between 18 and 21. Over here in animated movies, how many people that were between 10 and 13 went and saw it? There was about 12 of them. Alright, so let's look at it. Let's compare their shapes. The green one versus the purple one. What is the shape of the green one? Okay. What is so the green one is skewed left because it's going to tail out to the left, right? And what is the shape of the purple one? All right, the purple one is going to be skewed to the right. Right, so there's the shapes. Skewed left, skewed right. Outliers. Are there any outliers? There's no outliers. An outlier would be something where there's a gap in between everything else. Something floating way out here, and I don't see anything like that. Center. We're going to try and find center now. So remember, if it's symmetrical, it's right in the middle. If it's skewed left or skewed right, you usually find the highest bar and you go 1 over. So there is the center there. So the center of this one is somewhere in between 22 and 25. And over here, you find the highest bar, and you typically go 1 over towards the tail. So center is going to be somewhere in there, which is 18 to 21. So in which group is the center the oldest? In which group is the center the oldest? The center is the oldest over here in comedy. And then finally, spread. Spread is a fancy way of talking about range, where we're going to take the biggest and we're going to subtract the littlest from it. And it looks like we got biggest over here is going to be 37 to 10, and the biggest over here is 37 to 10. We got the same range. It covers the same amount of room, same ages, 10 to 37, 10 to 37. So that's what we're looking at. All right, here's another one. Instead of going to a comedy or an animated movie, these people are going to a historical movie. Let's just look at their numbers and see if we can figure out what's going on. Let's look at their numbers. What shape would this be? What shape is this? Let's look at the numbers and see if we can figure out what the shape is. Alright, we got their ages up top, and then there's numbers, the frequency, how many on the bottom. What shape is this? It's not perfect, but it's very close. This is pretty symmetrical. How do I know it's symmetrical? Look on the furthest outside. 3 and 5. Those are pretty close in number. Look at the next one coming in towards the middle. 18 and 14. Those are pretty close. And then finally, look at the last one in the middle. 36 and 40. Those are pretty close. So when you graph this thing, if you did, you would have small, medium, large, medium, and then small again. And that thing looks pretty symmetric. Now, where would the center be? Since this is symmetric, where would the center be? The center is somewhere in the middle. So the center is somewhere around here, which is going to be somewhere around here. So about 40 years old. So the center is way bigger than these ones. Way bigger than 25, way bigger than 21. And that makes sense, because these are historical movies. Okay, let's look at this one. And again, I want you to do this. I want you to talk socks on this one. So go ahead and you can make a bad version of copying this one down, or if you printed it out, it'll be a little bit easier. Shape, outlier, center, spread. If you didn't print it out, though, just draw a really generic version of it. Don't take any real time on it, alright? I'm not grading you on that. I'm grading you on watching this video and learning. So let's check this out. I want you to try and figure out shape, outlier, center, and spread. I'll take a minute and wait. Okay, let's see what you did. So shape over here, I hope you said this one is pretty symmetric. And because it is, it's pretty balanced out. It's not perfect, but it's pretty balanced out. Over here, this one is skewed. Which way is it skewed? Which way does the tail go if it's a dinosaur? Skewed right. Skewed right. The tail would come out over here. As far as outliers, there's no outliers on either of them. There's no gap and then another bar. There's no outliers. Center. Alright, let's see if we can do center. Center, because it's pretty symmetric, it's going to be like somewhere in here, somewhere around 70 for how often men, or how many minutes men work out. 70 minutes. center, because it's skewed right, I'll find this one, and then I'll go probably to the next bar a little bit, and it would be somewhere over here. So the center of that one would probably be maybe like 62 or somewhere in there. So we got 70 versus 62 for center. So this one, the men, have a higher center. And then finally spread. Spread is big minus the little. So the biggest it goes is 100 minus 40, which equals 60. And then over here, whoops, can't see that. And then over here for spread, we're going to have the biggest, 90, minus the smallest, 30. And that also equals 60. So the spread is actually the same on both of them. The spread is going to be the same. Right, rewatch that if you need to. So the spread is 60. 60 is the answer. Spread is 60. 60 for that one, 60 for that one. I know we got there different ways, but the spread is both 60. Alright, let's look at this one. In this one, we've got two different counties, and we got how long the policemen have been on the job. So we got years up here, 0 to 3 years, 4 to 7 years, 8 to 11. Then we got how many people from Jones County are new, 0 to 3. We got 7. Over here we got 3. We're going to make, it asks us to describe the shape of them, which has less experience. And then it says explain. Right, and it says make a histogram. Right, you could probably look at this without doing it and see what's going on. Right, over here for Pine County, if you check it out, just look at those numbers like we did before. 3 and 2, 6 and 5, 9 and 10, 14 in the middle. That's pretty symmetric. Look at this one up here. It looks like it goes small, big, big, medium, medium, small, small. If you look at that one, just eyeballing it, that's going to be not symmetric, skewed which way? Which way is the tail going to go? Right, the tail is going to be skewed right. Let's see if we can do this. First one goes up 7. Next one goes up 15. Then 17. Then 12. Then 8. Then 5. And then 3. See how that one tails off to the right? Skewed right. Let's try the other one. The other one is 3, 5, 9, 14, 10, 6, and 2. Look at that one, pretty symmetric. Alright, so just eyeballing it, you should be able to kind of figure out where the mean, or the median is. For this one, that is skewed right. Alright, it's probably going to be around here-ish, somewhere in there. For this one that's symmetric, it'll be in there. So which one has less experience? Well, just look at the numbers, man. There's way more numbers down there for over here. And this one, it's definitely in the middle. So which one has less experience? Jones County definitely has less experience. And you can just kind of tell. You can eyeball it almost, right? There's more big stuff to the left of the center. So that's where your answer is going to be. It's going to be lower than the center. Here's the center right there. Alright, finally, I believe this is almost the end of the worksheet for today. It's going to ask you about mean and median and mode, or not mode, actually range. So we got two things. We got putting fertilizer on plants and seeing what happens. What is mean a fancy word for? Mean a fancy word for? Average. Alright, so in average, what we do is we're going to add all 5 things together. and then hit enter, then divide by 5. So if I'm looking at them, which one is going to have the lower mean? Obviously it's the green one because they're smaller numbers. So there's our means. We add them together, hit enter, divide by 5. What's median a fancy word for? Middle, right? So median is a fancy word for middle. So if I look at the middles, here's what I'm going to have. I'm going to have a middle. I got to put them in order of about 16. Whoops, sorry. A median of about 16. And the other one's going to have a median of 1.07. Then finally, range. What's up with range? Range, I do the biggest one minus the littlest one. So the biggest one minus the littlest one. So biggest minus the littlest. 0.35. The other one, biggest minus littlest. Biggest minus littlest. 2.1. So what's bigger? This one's got the bigger mean. This one's got the bigger median. This one's got the bigger range. And that's how it works. I'm going to leave that for another day. So I wanted to keep this video short, so I think I've done that. Again, your assignment was to have basically taken notes on this video, drawing it the best you can, but quickly, and emailing me a copy of those notes. All right. Thank you, guys.